Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Uh, I'm Christian Williams, and I'm new to Konko since January, start of this year. And initially, I visited Konko for Hatsumode since 2022, and I would only come on the first of the year for Hatsumode in order to just give my respects to Kami-sama, because I had discovered that Kami-sama is much larger than the God that I was raised with, coming from a Christian Baptist church. So I'd always loved Japanese culture, from martial arts to anime, to music, fashion, food, nutrition, philosophy, and technology. I learned some Japanese throughout the times that I've been indulging in the cultural aspects of it, and I've been to Japan 5 times. Let's see. I grew up in a non-denominational Christian Baptist church, but after 23 years of that, thank you, Sensei. After 23 years of that, I sought out a new idea of God, because the God of the Bible seemed limited to me. I read philosophy books and listened to spiritual lectures of all kinds, from Zoroastrianism to Rosicrucian, Taoism, Shinto, Zen Buddhism, and Confucianism, which they all captivated me, and they all gave me a broader perspective of what God can be, which we know as Kami-sama here. I personally referred to God as Kami-sama already in my daily life, because I had been studying Japanese because of my appreciation for the culture already. I soon after tried practices of meditation, fasting, vegetarianism, and fruitarian diets even. These experiences transformed my understanding of Kami-sama to a more profound level. So recently, I did a pilgrimage to go Hombu last month, and it was an amazing experience for me. Let's see, from Tokyo. So I initially landed in Tokyo to visit with friends, and from college, in order to have a reunion, because they have all grown up and they have families now, and so we had a reunion over there. And then from Tokyo, I went to Okayama to visit Go Hombu. My total stay there was 2 weeks. After getting to Okayama, it was about a 10-minute travel down to Konko town, where I got off and I met with Alan Sensei. I immediately noticed that there were the Konko symbol on everything, everywhere, from the buildings, the shops, to even some of the desserts and flags. I was grateful to see familiar faces all the way on the other side of the world. That made the experience most enjoyable, seeing Alan Sensei, Joanne Sensei, and everyone, and also meeting new faces who were part of the faith and in the leadership of the faith. From then, I was blown away by the historic nature of Konko town, the expansive and beauty of the town as well. I love the architecture, the temples and shrines that were everywhere were much larger than you would see on a YouTube video. And all of it was dedicated to Tenchi Kane no Kami and reverence of the nature. I stayed at the Kofukan, which is a kind of hotel, traditional style, and it captivated me because it had such a warm, traditional Japanese vibe, which I absolutely love. That night in San Francisco, that night, the San Francisco group, ministers and associates, all met with Kyoji Sensei, the brother of Konko-sama, for a reunion sushi dinner and games as we got reacquainted. And a lot of us, especially me, meeting some people for the first time. We had a warm experience there. The next morning, when we woke up early and went to Otemachi, which made me feel a greater sense of respect and gratitude for being there. As we bowed towards Konko-sama, should I say, ascending from his home to go to the Hiromai for the day to do Toritsugi. So after we did Otemachi, we entered the Hiromai, which is like the main altar, similar to what we're seeing right here, and which was massive, by the way. It was about arguably 4 times the size, maybe, which gave it more of a. It was a powerful vibe. It very much made me feel more spiritual. I don't know why larger things make me feel more more humbled. So when we entered the Hiromai, we would do a 1-hour prayer, and we did this every morning for the 5 days in total that I was there. So we read through the prayer book earlier today, and it was all in English, but there it's all in Japanese, and we don't say the English part because we're in Japan. I actually didn't recognize, or I didn't realize what I was getting myself into for some reason. And I had forgotten the prayer book that Joanne Sensei actually handed me, which is all in Japanese. But they did have some available to use there, so I just used theirs. And luckily, I'd been practicing my Japanese reading since the start of this year, actually, more so than before. And so I was able to use the Japanese book and read through the prayers, not necessarily easily, but I could keep up, which was reassuring of my reading abilities in Japanese. Let's see. After about an hour of the prayer, I met with Konko-sama for Toritsugi. He recommended a book and gave it to me called The Voice of the Universe. Later, Alan Sensei would give me a tour of the town, Konko town, and introduce me to a lot of people at Hombu. They all seemed to know him and welcome him warmly, and they were very welcoming to me as well. Everyone at Hombu was wearing a black kimono, which was enriching to witness in that kind of authenticity. We spoke with students training to become ministers about pressing world topics, which was also unreal and yet fascinating. One of the students was able to speak English. He studied in Canada, and he would simultaneously translate our conversations between the other students and some ministers as well. I originally planned to travel to Shikoku to hike. Well, Shikoku is an island just south of Okayama. And so I originally planned to hike through there and visit a few villages on the 88 Temple Trail that many people come from around the world to do the pilgrimage and experience the towns and pray at the temples there. But just being Go Hombu was such a profound experience for me that I just appreciated staying there, especially because I got acquainted with all of the people at Go Hombu already, and there was so much to witness and see that I just decided to stay. And Kofukan was great. I was already I was getting very comfortable in that area. So rather than travel on my own, I figured I would just stick around at Go Hombu and get a tour from Kyoji Sensei and spend time with his family and Alan Sensei. Yeah, Go Hombu, the vibe there was amazing. Basically, it had the sacred essence of reverence and wonder that I was seeking to experience when I went to the Japanese countryside. I would definitely love to go back. I got to know Kyoji Sensei and his overflowing hospitality as he gave me a personal tour of Go Hombu and the Research Institute, explaining to me the history of each building as it relates to Konko Daijin, as well as architectural design considerations for shrines, because I'm interested in architecture. He and his family drove us to Kurashiki and many other churches in the region to experience the Japanese countryside and all of its architectural wonder. We had a lot of interesting conversations related to Konkokyo and some unrelated, but overall it was an amazing experience. All in all, I had a wonderful time at Go Hombu and would love to go back for an extended period of time. Everyone was warm and welcoming, and there was lots of history to explore. The teachings that captivated me the most in Konkokyo is Waga Kokoro and Ayo Kakeo, because those resonated with my discoveries of what nature and God and Kami-sama have to offer to humanity and the universe. To gain authentic joy in our own hearts and help each other in our daily lives in order that we may become prosperous. Your joy is contagious. That is our joy as human beings and also plants and animals. You see when a flower opens up, it expresses its own beauty, and that's the joy of the flower, welcoming the light of the sun into the world for the day. And as the flower expresses its joy and gratitude towards the sun, we express our love for the opening of the flowers in the morning and throughout the day. And that's spreading joy in and of itself, which is a prime example of some of the realizations I had come to myself. Spreading this joy amongst our communities can create a great sense of peace and prosperity in the world. And the more we do this, the less war and fighting that we would have in the world. But yeah, I'll end my speech for now. And yeah, thank you for listening to me. Arigatou gozaimashita.